Every hour, a young person in this country is diagnosed with cancer. Their survival outcomes are inferior. Their access to clinical trials is wanting. Their medical services are often lacking or fragmented. Their disease and its consequences are uniquely different from children and adults. Young people are the future, and they deserve the best. In 2015, Teen Cancer America sponsored Hernan Barangan, a survivor of teenage cancer, to travel every state and capture the voice of our nation's youth with cancer. This is their story. It validates our mission to build dedicated spaces, teams, treatments, and research to improve their experience, outcomes, and survival. We pay tribute to every one of them, and in particular to those who are no longer with us. They will be remembered.
I am from Alberta, Alabama.
Seminole, Texas.
Sunny Tampa, Florida. Rapid City, South Dakota.
Chicago, Illinois.
Topeka, Kansas.
Washington, D.C.
Sherwood, Oregon.
San Francisco, California.
Anchorage, Alaska.
I had actually just started high school when it happened.
I was running a lot and being really active, so I just thought I had a knee injury. I put off going to the doctors for a long time, actually.
They took x-rays and stuff, and they saw a little spot right here. The doctor told me it was probably nothing, don't worry about it. Teens don't get cancer, that stuff.
6 or 7 incorrect diagnoses later, I have a softball-sized lump in my throat that's blocking my airway, and we knew we had a serious, serious problem.
Teens and young adults are a really unique developmental stage, and cancer in general affects the very young and the very old.
On the adult ward, we have things that cater to 40 and 50 and 60-year-olds far better than what we have for a teenager.
In terms of working with young adults in pediatrics, it's not the same as working with babies or kids.
The crying child that you heard in the hall would be sharing space with the 18-year-old who's trying to be a young adult.
So really this idea of trying to build an infrastructure that is bringing together pediatric medicine and adult medicine and bringing it together for the teen and young adult oncology experience is the best standard of care.
It's all about creating a great team, creating a great place, and bringing those young people together.
I was pretty upset. It was kind of hard being a 16-year-old girl finding out you had cancer.
Just being young, I always think you feel like you're so invincible. It does something when you have such a diagnosis like that.
All you crave is being accepted, and then you throw cancer on top of that, and then everything just kind of goes downhill again.
I couldn't walk by myself. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. You just feel helpless.
I'm too young for this. Why is this happening to me?
I don't want this to change me. And I want to be able to still live my life the way it was.
Everybody gets different chemo, but what I went through was pretty awful. It's like poison, basically.
The effect of chemotherapy, I just felt sick, whereas being isolated was harder.
I was removed from society for a long time.
So I kind of just felt like I was alone in my own little world. It's a hard thing to go through. Such a young age when you're supposed to be out, hanging out with friends and stuff.
When you go through that, you find out who cares.
My friends at first, they thought I was joking because, you'd never think that your best friend or your friend would ever have cancer.
People come up and ask me if I'm gonna die or what it's like. And when I went into school, kids were crying and everything.
Being in the hospital and just seeing my friends not be able to look me in the eye anymore, it was really hard on me.
I was kind of in a funny place where my friends were going off to college. They were going off to do their bigger and better things, and I had to hang out in a children's hospital with my little friends on tricycles.
I was very out of my element. There were frogs and teddy bears up on the walls.
You had people from Child Life coming in and asking you if you wanted a coloring book, and I just looked at them and I'm like, guys, I'm 18 years old. I don't want a coloring book.
The nurses didn't know how to switch between a 22-year-old male with a 6-year-old kid. So they're treating me like I'm in daycare.
I don't like to be treated like a child. I know what is happening to me. I know what's going on. So, talk to me like an adult. Don't ask my dad if you can do this to me, ask me.
I wasn't a toddler. I shared rooms with a lot of toddlers, and I'm 19. And, lots of the doctors there, they're just like, we don't know how adult organs work. We know how kid organs work. You're not a kid.
What am I doing in here with all these kids? Well, you don't want to be there in the first place. But if you had to be there, you don't want to be with all these annoying little kids crying all the time.
At the time that I was there weren't any teenagers. I was like the old lady.
I didn't have the really young kids. I was treated in an adult hospital, so I just had the adults. So you walk in and everyone's like, wow, you're so young.
They kind of give you like, oh, the last person I saw was with gray hair, and the next person I'm gonna see is with gray hair. And so they're not really familiar with how to approach, young cancer patients in general.
Just even going to any doctor's appointment, it's either like everyone's way older than you and nobody's my age going to all these like heart appointments, lung appointments, scans.
I want to walk around the hallway, but the hallway looks like I'm in a mental institute or something. It was just plain white paint, and everybody was locked in their rooms.
I have to say that I didn't really meet anybody who was my age who was also going through cancer.
I saw young, old, big, small, everything.
Haven't really met anybody my age with cancer.
I didn't see anybody my age at all, actually.
No one knows what you're going through. No one knows how hard it is, except for people that are going through it as well.
It could be a different cancer that they're going through. I just think they know no matter what, like, as long as you have someone that knows what you're going through, I think you can make it. It's cool to know that you're not the only one.
That like everybody knows what you've like been through.
Like it's just easy that you don't even have to ask and you can just talk about it openly. Like they just get it.
You just want to sit down and just ask so many questions like, so did you experience this and what was this like and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da,
So it was definitely easier communicating with people your age than it is with like a 4-year-old, which they are adorable, but sometimes you don't feel like coloring Barbie.
So if there's an adolescent right now or a young adult in a double room and the roommate's in a crib, we're messing up. We gotta fix it today.
One teenager or adolescent is diagnosed with cancer every hour.
And I feel like it's every day someone else is gone because of this disease.
When we look at adolescents and young adults with cancer, they haven't benefited in the same way as childhood cancer survivors have with the investment in research and investment in resources.
The AYA gap is real. There's more uninsured AYAs and there's less AYA clinical trial participation than other age groups.
If there were some place where we could just have a hangout, where we could socialize with other kids like us, it makes things a lot easier.
You kind of just want your own space. I mean, I feel like that's just a common theme for teenagers. You just want your own space. You just want to be with your peers.
And having a room down the hall to just sort of escape your little bubble. It's like really nice.
We don't want every person to feel like they're the only ones going through it, that they have to feel like they're part of a group, and it makes a big difference to the mindset, to their attitude about, yes, I can do this because others have done it. It's a big part of success.
As long as you hope, there's always a chance for a great outcome.
You just take each day as it comes.
Something in my head and something in my heart is just, you just have to fight.
It's so